Well, good morning, guys. It's Pastor Andy. Today is July the 22nd, and we're looking together still in Psalm 119, but we're continuing our study in verse 121 down through verse 128. In this section of Psalm 119, it really reminds me of an old hymn. And I like the old hymns. I like to listen to them from time to time and sit back and reminisce and remember because there's some great truths in some of those old hymns. Not discounting the new songs because I love them too. It just depends on what's happening in my life, what I'm studying, what I'm going through as to what I'm listening to that day. But as I was reading the psalm today, it reminded me of one of my favorite old hymns, and that is Blessed Assurance, Jesus is Mine. Oh, what a foretaste of glory divine. And I thought about that hymn as I was reading here, and I want you to think about that hymn too as we read today if you know that hymn. Psalm 119 verse 21 says, "Don't leave me to the mercy of my enemies, for I have done what is just and right." God, don't leave me at their mercy. Don't leave me at their hands. I'm following you. I'm doing what you told me to do. Protect me. Take care of me. Verse 122 says, "Please guarantee a blessing for me." That word guarantee means surety, and the old King James says it that way, or another way to say it is be a cosigner. So, Lord, I want you to be the cosigner for me. I want you to guarantee this. If it's not going to happen, it's on you. You are guaranteeing this for me that it's going to happen. Please guarantee a blessing for me. Don't let the arrogant oppress me. That word oppress has to do with abuse of power and authority, slandering, talking about. So God, would you please give me a blessing? Would you make sure that the blessing comes? Don't let those arrogant people keep putting me down. Have you ever been in a spot where you felt like arrogant people were continually putting you down and keeping you down? That's what the psalmist is talking about here. He goes down through here and gets to one of my favorite verses in this section. Verse 126 says this, "Lord, it's time for you to act, for these evil people have violated your instructions." God, it's time for you to deal with them. God, would you just wipe them off? You know, so many times we talk about God as being the loving God who cares and wants to heal and wants to bring restoration, and He's the God of love. And if we're not careful, we can get this idea in our head that God is just this touchy-feely hug, sit around a campfire, holding hands, singing Kumbaya, and that is not God. It's nowhere near Him. While He is love, He's also justice and judgment. He's also righteousness. He's all of these things. And we forget about the God of the Old Testament when we focus on the God of the New Testament so much. We have to have both. And the God of the Old Testament, if you read through there, you find people like David, who's praying for God to kill his enemies. Would you just wipe them out, Lord? You see Moses leading the nation of Israel. And at times Moses is ready to wipe out the nation of Israel for not listening to God. And then you see God at times and ready to wipe them out. And Moses intercedes for him and back and forth and all these things. And when we read this stuff like this, if we're not careful, we forget about God being like this. But we can say, if you look here, it says, Lord, it's time for you to act. Lord, you need to take up this thing. You need to deal with this. You're the only one who can deal with this. God, those evil people have violated your instructions. They have broken the word that you have given. They're not following. They're attacking me. I am your servant. I'm doing what you've called me to do. I'm doing what you want me to do with my life. And these evil people just will not stop. So God, you're going to have to deal with them. That's pretty strong. Have you ever felt like that? That's what the psalmist is saying here. God, you've got to act. Verse 127, "Truly, I love your commands more than gold, even than the finest gold." Do you really love God's word like that? The word commands there is talking about God's word. Do we hold God's word in the same value, at the same level, or higher than gold? If I was to offer you gold bricks today, and I had a stack of them here on my desk, and I mean, it's big, and I had a Bible on the other side, gold bricks or a Bible, which would you pick? Be honest. Which would you pick? That's a tough choice. But should it be? The psalmist said, "Truly I love your commands more than gold, even the finest gold." Each of your commands is right. That's why I hate evil, every false way. Do we really hold God's word at the same level as money or power or gold? I encourage you today, Get into God's Word and you'll see. Taste and see that the Lord is good, as the psalmist said. Do you really feel that God's Word is that valuable to you? Get in it today, study it for yourself, and see. Test God and see which one is more valuable. And until tomorrow, God bless you and have a great day.